Alright everyone, my name is Nate and I go by the alias Hyperlynx for all of my music production, and today I just wanted to do my first video and talk about something that I thought was a cool insight. I've been making music for over 10 years now, and there's some things that I've learned along the way. Some of you might find it helpful. Today I wanted to cover the endless source of inspiration that I've had for writing my songs. Now we've all had writer's block, where you can't finish a project, or you don't know how to structure something, or you're not feeling any inspiration. So there's so much good music out there nowadays that I've just basically used that as my main source of inspiration. So what I'll do typically is I'll find a song that I really like, and I'll drag and drop it into the DAW that I'm using, which is Ableton Live, and I'll use the template that I have, which is a really important concept in itself. I'll probably do a separate video on that, explaining the importance of using templates. Now that's just, getting your music to a certain level and then using that template for all existing projects from there on, and you'll continue to iterate and continue to improve that template, and that will keep your music sounding consistent and sonically impactful throughout your projects. But I'm digressing. Getting back on track, I will get the song and drag it into my DAW and literally try and reverse engineer the sounds and basically try and copy it. And along the way, it'll turn into its own song. I won't actually try to recreate it, identical, but I will do my best to create something that is close. And along the way, I usually will get inspired and the track will take on a life of its own. So today I'm going to be taking you through a song called Underground. It's for a project that I'm doing with my production partner Eric. We go by the alias .dash. Now this one is inspired by a few different songs, actually 4. In fact, I try to pay really close attention to how the genres are evolving, what sounds are being copied by other producers, and it's interesting to see the evolution of what sounds catch on and what sounds people think are cool. And that's kind of what another point I wanted to bring up is try to catch a trend. The DJs and the producers that you like to listen to, pay attention to what's kind of coming up, and try and anticipate what sounds are going to get copied. Jaws is a perfect example of that. He started the bass house movement, I guess, in my opinion. Could be wrong about that, but everyone started copying his sound, and it spawned an entirely new genre. So without further ado, let's just play the first part of each drop, the main bass house drop, and then the halftime drop. Yo, check this, 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 yo, check this sound. And then the halftime drop. Yo, check this, 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 yo, check this sound. Okay, so that song should hopefully be out in the new year. Anyway, it was inspired by a bunch of different songs. Namely, I've noticed, or Halftone, this Lute track. It's not very well known, but he's an artist that I that I think has kind of caught this sound that's been going around. It's a sub bass that is got a lot of overtones, a lot of distortion and harmonics, and then you got this white noise that wobbles in time with the sub. Right, so I'll just play a little bit of this. Right about now. Awesome track. I played it out on a big system. It really pounds. So go give Halftone some love, and it's a free download. So silly not to. It's coming out on OS City Music. I have a couple tracks coming out on that label in January, and Illest Alien by Ahi. He's got that sub, that rolling sub bass that just it doesn't sound like it sounds like a straight sine wave, but I've discovered that using square waves, saw waves, something that already has a natural amount of harmonics in it, instead of trying to bring harmonics out of a sine wave, is definitely the way to go in terms of getting your track to really thump on speakers that don't necessarily have those sub frequency capabilities. So he's got that sub in there, and he also has that classic like bass house wobble. And then Of the Trees is another track that just blew my mind. Let's try it. This drop is nuts. Okay, so that one always blows me away, and the mix down is better than anything I could probably ever achieve. But the idea is there that you just got that nice thick sub plus harmonics. It's filling out the entire stereo or the entire frequency spectrum, and then you got that nice wide white noise that's wobbling in time with the sub. Very cool, very cool. So I've noticed this in a lot of tracks that I've been listening to lately. I won't show any more examples. No, I will. Never mind. Need It by Shipwreck. I'll play it really quick. So again, you can hear that sub in there. It has lots of overtones, and it really thumps even on like my phone. Like it's just I was really like, how the heck did they get all those harmonics to sound so good? Whenever I try to make a sub on my own, it doesn't come out that nice. So I thought, well, let's just take the song. I've downloaded the track. Where the heck is it? Let's see here. So excuse me while I find the song. Downloads. Need It by Shipwreck. Here it is. So what I do as I go and zoom in to the end of the track, now I have a filter or an EQ taking out all of the high end, and I'm looking for a point where I can just copy and paste a small section of frequency from the sub. So this looks like a good spot here. So what I do is I'd zoom in, I'd highlight a part that I like, copy it, delete everything, paste it. Now I have the waveform here. Control J or Control J or Apple J, whatever. I'm on PC, so just use the right quick hotkeys for your platform. And then now I would drag and drop this sample into a sampler, and then isolate just the waveform that I want to repeat. So let's see what that sounds like. Right, so just like in Serum or any other VST or oscillator, you're going to see that that sine wave, right? So that's what I've isolated here, and I'm repeating. Same idea as a FM synthesis. But something really cool happens when you do this. You make sure the sustain mode is on, so the clip is playing from the start, and then it's going and repeating. So you can see, and never mind this EQ here. This is probably not the traditional way to EQ, but it just ended up working for this. But you can see this overtone, these harmonics are quite loud compared to the actual sub frequency that I'm circling here. Now watch what happens when I click the crossfade. Now full crossfade, I have a large amount of sub frequency, less overtones or less harmonics, and then I can kind of use this crossfade to almost balance them out to taste. So really cool thing that I discovered with subs is, you know, sample something from your favorite track and then use this technique to taste in order to, you know, create something that's really full. I mean, I've spent hours trying to create nice subs in Serum or whatever, and for some reason I just suck at it. I've used patches, whatever. This has tended to be the easiest way for me to get a really good result. And that's something that I should mention too, is don't be afraid to use samples. I really always tried to overproduce and only create my own sounds. I just had too much pride, and in my opinion, it's the end result that matters. So if you find a sample that's really good and you want to use it, just use it, even if it's just straight up you haven't modified it at all. That being said, I use the same technique to create this rolling bass line. That rolling sub. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was getting that crunchy sound with the white noise and the wobble into this track. So I'm using a few different elements, right? So that crunchy sub with the white noise. I'm using your classic bass house synth. Let's see here. It's such an easy sound to make, but you should go check out Ahi's tutorials. He's taught me so much. Big shout out to Ahi. He's such a legend, and as I don't know what it is about the way he delivers his videos, but they're really accessible, and he has taught me a few gems that have really leveled up my production, in my opinion. So this one is a really simple patch. You have two basic sine waves, and then you got your B, your affecting your A, right? So the level's down on B, but this sine wave is modulating this one, and it creates this really cool, I guess, dissonant frequencies when you separate the octaves. So I got octave at 2, and this one at 1. If I raise the octave, and you can get some really cool sounds. Let's try it again. So all just right out of the box, really cool sounds. Classic bass house sounds, but I mean, in my opinion, they cannot be overused. And then from there, I'm just using, let's see. I'm using an M. You can use either an LFO to modulate this sweet spot from B and the level. So it's basically opening the filter according to this shape here, right? And I'm also using a filter as well, and it's opening and closing the filter just to take any harsher frequencies out. I got your standard fare OTT and basic Ableton plugins on here just to EQ, sidechain, and just bring it out in the mix. But that's for a different tutorial. I didn't mean for this to turn into how to make this sound video. But what I'm doing is I took 4 songs that I liked, the elements of each song that I really liked, and I tried to combine them all into one track. And in the process of reverse engineering a few different sounds, this track just kind of took on a life of its own and wrote itself. And yeah, from there, that's pretty much, the idea is to, in summary, just find something, that a track that you really like, and just try to recreate it, and then along the way it'll hopefully turn into its own thing. It's a technique that seems to be working for me. My workflow and amount of the volume of stuff I've been able to create in a short amount of time has really improved. So yeah, with that, we'll leave it there for now, and I'll hopefully be back with another video soon. I enjoy doing it, and we'll see you guys in the next one.